Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate you having this hearing. We've had a number of hearings in this committee about the new technologies, what technology has done to increase the supply. Years ago, people thought there were short limits on how much oil we had left of natural gas, and of course, with the advancements in technology and in the deep water in Louisiana, as Senator Johnston knows, we've experienced even larger finds of large reserves of fossil fuels with the shale play, as you mentioned in the Haynesville play, and I've been up there myself and seen just the job creation that it's created, but also the energy independence. And I've toured the Cheniere facility in southwest Louisiana, the first of those 20 facilities that are either looking to export LNG or, as Cheniere is in the process of doing. There are so many opportunities for us to become energy independent within 10 years. It's a very realistic possibility if we get the policy right here in Washington. And unfortunately, as our hearings in the past have shown us, the policies haven't always matched the goal of having energy independence. For those of us who want an all-of-the-above strategy, which includes wind and solar, but being realistic about their limitations and understanding the demands of a manufacturing economy, we're going to need to continue advancing the technologies that we have for fossil fuels as well. I want to start with you, Senator Johnston, and first thank you for your 24 years of service to the great state of Louisiana and to our country for serving in the Senate, and especially for your leadership on the Senate Energy Committee. You know very well the challenges that we face. In your testimony, you talk about some of the times where the federal government gets it wrong, and probably all the times where the federal government tries to go and predict, whether it's with renewable fuel standards, and you cite the 2007 Congress projections that are now so far off that our refineries are telling us they're hitting the blend wall. You talk about the president's own predictions of, I think it was, 1 million electric cars on the road by 2015, and today we have 87,000 electric and hybrids. So the government hasn't really been good at picking winners and losers. In fact, we had the hearings here in this committee about Solyndra and that scandal, and where the government literally came in and tried to pick winners and losers and just ends up picking losers, and the taxpayers foot the bill. If you can just expand on some of the things you talked about in your testimony about what would be a good strategy, as you cite Adam Smith and Wealth of Nations, and as government regulation versus a free market approach, the right way to go. And of course, history has a lot of indicators for which way is the better path.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Scalise. There are huge opportunities for natural gas and for other fossil fuels around the world. Qatar is a huge producer, Indonesia, Australia. Chevron has a facility in Australia they're spending $81 billion on, and they'll be exporting all over. In addition to that, if the price did get too high, and I mentioned this to Mr. Whitfield, you can use coal to make chemicals. My son and I are involved in a plant in Lake Charles now, which will make chemical precursors out of pet coke, which is essentially the same thing as coal. So there are huge opportunities for energy, and the market will sort those out. It's
do you think it's an achievable goal when those of us who talk about energy independence within 10 years, again, if we get smart policy, if we get the policy right out of Washington, do you think it's achievable that we can be an energy independent nation to secure that future for our country?
Absolutely. They're drilling down in the Gulf of Mexico now below 30,000 feet, and they think they're a huge new undiscovered basin down there. They're just tremendous opportunities if we just get the regulators out of the way. And we need regulation for a lot of things, for safety, et cetera. But when you're regulating the supply and demand of commodities, government just can't do that very well.
Yeah, unfortunately, the history's shown
ethanol, they still haven't gotten it right. We've known for years that they weren't producing any cellulosic ethanol, but they're still requiring it. And You'd think the regulators would learn at some point.
We're going to keep pushing them to get there. So I appreciate all of your testimony, but again, Senator Johnston, for your leadership to our state, and be happy to yield back the balance of my time, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you.